Now, the third one is this gay guy, Adam Lambert.
That's how you're describing him, as this gay guy.
Well, the reason I am is because that's what he trades on. He trades on this. Don't get me homophobic. He goes on ABC and he does all kinds of...
Not because he's gay.
Oh, no, wait a minute, hold it. He didn't do that stuff because he's gay? Is that what you're telling me?
He did that because he got the urge.
Oh, the urge.
This is the way he performs.
Okay, I'm not gay. Would I ever get an urge like that? I doubt it. I doubt it. Would you? I don't think so.
He was expressing himself.
In a way that was gay. You had to waste time asking him?
I wanted him to talk about it.
Oh, okay.
Whether he kept it hidden.
Whether he kept it hidden?
Yes, because in American Idol...
Are you kidding me?
Well, now he's showing his homophobic stripes. Last night, O'Reilly showed a French McDonald's commercial that involved a guy speaking on the phone to his boyfriend. The tagline was, "Come as you are." Here was O'Reilly's response.
They want to make a political statement selling burgers. They're entitled to it. It'll never run in the USA. They never do that.
Part of an overreaching campaign called Come As You Are, which you saw at the end there. So they show people in different walks of life. This happens to be their gay-friendly ad.
Do they have an Al-Qaeda ad? You know,
maybe that's
Come As You Are, and you know.
And how do you know it's not?
You heard that right. Bill O'Reilly just equated a commercial featuring a gay man to one featuring terrorists. And did you catch the part where he said it would never run in America? He kept that up even after his guests called him out on it.
Do they have an Al-Qaeda ad? You know,
maybe that's
Come As You Are, and you know.
And how do you know it's not coming to the States?
I don't know. I
never say never.
All it is, no, that will not. I guarantee you that will not run here.
He guarantees it. Funny how a guy who calls himself a patriot has such little respect for the diversity of his own country. If a commercial like that doesn't even ever run in America, it will be because of folks like O'Reilly. Comparing gay people to Al-Qaeda is just Bill's latest expression of bigoted psycho talk.
Wall Street Journal reports today that the California Teachers Association has donated more than $1 million to defeat the one-man, one-woman concept.
And when the California Supreme Court, alerted us and gave its decision in May on gay marriage, a lot of people don't know this, but on the last page of that decision, they literally drew a line through the words between a man and a woman. And when they did that, they changed marriage for everyone. And that is the one place in the law where we promise our children that as often as possible they're entitled to have a mother and a father. And so we feel like it's critical to leave that in the law.
All right, so you're looking at it then, and I won't put words in your mouth, so you correct me if I'm wrong, that it's a societal stabilizer and better for children to have marriage only defined as man and woman.
As we feel, especially in this time in the world, that our kids need to have the very most basic things that they deserve. And
isn't it ironic then that the California Teachers Association donated more than $1 million to kill the proposition? They're supposed to be looking out for the kids too.
We've given up on waiting for institutions to protect our children. There is an uprising of teachers in California who are very disappointed.
Oh, I know they're angry because they just take the teachers' dues and they don't ask them and they just do this stuff.
No, without permission, they donated. So.
It's awful. That was awful. Now, last night we showed you a confrontation in Palm Springs, California, where a senior citizen had a cross smashed out of her hands by a pro-gay marriage activist. Well, that's just the beginning. In Michigan, a church was invaded by gay activists. And near Denver, authorities are investigating a possible hate crime.
This LDS church, the target of a possible hate crime.
It was a very disappointing feeling.
This church leader says a Book of Mormon was set on fire and left burning at a chapel entrance, shocking some church members.
So you can see the debate over gay marriage is now a full-fledged national battle. As Talking Point said last night, the election of Barack Obama has emboldened secular progressives who feel it is their time. Gay marriage, just the beginning. Other culture war issues will also be on display very shortly. These include limiting gun possession, legalizing narcotics, unrestricted abortion, and the revocation of the Patriot Act. But It is the gay marriage issue that has ignited the anger and fear now.
The Constitution doesn't say anything related to gender around marriage. At the end of the day, in the state of California, you know, as far as I'm concerned as a lesbian, I deserve equal rights.
Homosexuality is an action. And the Constitution clearly and tradition clearly says marriage man-woman. Constitution doesn't deal with the issue. So to break down the traditional definition of marriage, you've got to have a compelling constitutional reason.
Well, first of all, I would disagree that homosexuality isn't how people were born. I believe that to be the case.
But some people don't.
Well, they're not following the science. Second of all, I would also say that for people to come forth and say religion is the reason they're opposing this, I find it quite ironic. I find it quite ironic that a book that says that that slaves should obey their masters is now being used to keep gay and lesbian people down.
You know, sometimes in an interview you get lucky, and our goal is always to expose the underside of every issue we cover, because there is usually a hidden agenda. Now, nowhere is this more apparent than in the illegal immigration debate. Now, last night on the television side, we had New York City Councilman Charles Barron on the program.
Then why did so many people want to come here if we're so bad?
Because there are places where they can do good here. If we allow for that to happen and we create change.
Change?
Change.
So that means a changing America. You want a changing
America? Of course America has to change.
Right. And you'd like the changing America to be the dominant people would be people of color.
That's going to happen anyway.
But you want it to happen, do you not?
That's going to happen anyway.
Do you not want it to happen?
That's going to happen whether you or I want it or not.
That's the bottom line on it, isn't it, Charles?
No, the bottom line
is
that you fear
I don't fear anything.
Your white privilege will no longer exist.
I just want the rule of law. You want a totally different country.
It's going to happen whether you like it or not, whether I want it or not. Look at New York City. The majority of the people in New York City are people of color. And that's why you have problems with immigration.
And that's
because of the browning of America.
That's why
you want to stay in control.
Now,
you want to stay in power.
I don't care about control at all.
Yes, you do.
But I love you because now everyone knows what the true agenda is.
The true agenda is to treat all immigrants fairly as they treated your ancestors.
Charles Barron, everybody. Now we know.
All right, there you go. White privilege, the browning of America. There it is. There it is. Bottom line on this, that's what it is. Change the complexion of America. Have an open border where Hispanics, people who live in the Caribbean, people who live in Africa and Asia can walk in and become citizens immediately. And there you have the white power structure would decline, of course, because the numbers of people coming here would be people of color. Because you have some white people saying, I don't want to live in a country that has people of color in the majority. The unintended consequence of that is that America is going to change in racial ways, in every way. Now, do we as American citizens, all of us, want that change? They see an opportunity to overthrow what they call the white privileged Christian nation. They'll overthrow that. People of color will vote the way I vote. And we'll kick out all the white people. And we'll have a rainbow nation, not a white power structure. That's white privilege is the key words. The browning of America. But the bottom line, as Charles Barron said last night, is there is a movement in this country to wipe out, quote-unquote, white privilege.
Change, pardon the pun, the whole complexion of America. Am I wrong?
No, you're right. The second thing that on the left they're against is the temporary worker, as you know. We say 2 years. They don't want them to have to go back.
But do you understand what the New York Times wants and the far left want? They want to break down the white Christian male power structure, of which you're a part, and so am I, that you've got to cap it. The bottom line on this is we've got a 21-year-old Marine Corporal Iraqi veteran and a 24-year-old woman, his girlfriend, Jennifer Bauer. They're dead.
That's right.
Because North Carolina will not check their driver's license applications, and the state of Maryland will not act aggressively when stopping people they suspect to be in this country illegally. Marianne, Woodbury, Connecticut. What say you, Marianne? Marianne, you're on the air.
Here I am.
Okay.
I just wanted to say that I think Michelle Obama is an angry woman.
And I don't want to go on a lynching party against Michelle Obama unless there's evidence, hard facts that say this is how the woman really feels. If that's how she really feels, that America's a bad country or a flawed nation, whatever, then that's legit. We'll track it down.
The mainstream American media.
Just shut up.
Crusaders of truth, pathological liars, or just scary clowns.
Just shut up. Well, the shut up line has happened only once in 6 years.
I know what I'm doing?
Shut up. I'm asking you to shut up about sex.
Is America's self-proclaimed news elite able to concentrate on anything more than putting on a show with its slick presenters?
And I don't think anybody has an answer to how we can get out of it. I wish we did, but...
Now Fox News can't get enough of RT. Our interview with former radical anti-war activist and now Chicago professor Bill Ayers made entertainer Bill O'Reilly flip out.
We have to get the United States to participate in the world. You know, the idea that we've been a force for good for the last 6 decades is utter nonsense.
Don't you just want to slap him? You saw the Russian interviewer nodding off like this. I mean, that's what she was saying. She had no idea. She didn't even speak English. They assigned a Russian interviewer to interview that pinhead who didn't speak English. She didn't even speak English.
As Americans begin to wake up to the thought that what their mainstream media says is often far from reality, the question rises as to whether the U.S. media's attention-grabbing gameplay could see its credibility fly out of the window. Anastasia Churkina, RT.
Joining us now from Philadelphia, Fox News analyst Dr. Mark Lamont Hill. Okay, you heard Laura Ingraham. What say you?
The free market doesn't work for poor people in absolute terms.
The reason we're in this mess is because millions of Americans, not just poor people, there were a lot of middle-class people, upper middle class, who bought big homes way over their income level, and they're responsible too. But is that a legitimate point? That pushing social engineering, saying, look, you've got to give these people loans even if they can't afford it. What say you about it?
Providing people, first of all, providing people access to quality housing is not social engineering as if it's some wild Frankenstein
experiment. Depends how much the quality housing costs. You know, I mean, does everybody get a $250,000 home? Does everybody get a $500,000 home?
No, absolutely not. I mean, and that's where individual responsibility comes in. You know, you Republicans can learn anything about individual responsibility.
I'm not a Republican. I can sue you for that.
I'm talking to the American people, not you, Bill. You're fair and balanced and independent. But what I'm saying here, is that, you know, people who make $50,000 a year who want to get into a $500,000 house and they're upside down and they're desperate right now, I don't have a lot of sympathy for them. Who I have sympathy for are the American people who were baited by unscrupulous lenders and brokers and so forth. Those are the people we need to bail out, not the people who lied on their applications.
Okay, but let me ask you this. Do you feel sorry for the person making $20,000 who has no skills, dropped out of high school, maybe fathered a couple of children, and they can't, and they would like a nice house, but they can't earn enough money to buy it? Do you feel sorry for them? Should society provide them a house?
What we need to give them access to is housing, not necessarily, you know,
what do you mean by
O'Reilly
housing? Should we build them houses and give them those houses?
Well, there are a lot of options here. One option is quality public housing. Another thing is rent control. Another thing is providing loans for people. There are a lot of options, and so many of them have been swallowed up over the last 30 years that people are desperate for housing. They're desperate for the American dream, and then you have an unscrupulous.
But you have to work for the American dream. You see, you have to get educated and skilled to get. So, but I just want to be clear, though. So you don't feel sorry for the people who have overreached. All right, who are making 60, 70 grand, but they want the McMansion that costs $700,000. Right. You don't feel sorry for them, but you do feel sorry for the people at 20, 25,000 who also overreached to buy a $100,000, $150,000 house they can't afford.
But they don't have options. But they don't have any other options. My concern is if you don't have access to quality public housing, which is being destroyed, which is being relocated, when you don't have access to those things, when it's hard to get a loan, when you don't have access to quality jobs, you need something. And I'm saying that let's not completely demonize these people.
I'm not demonizing. I'm just trying to understand. But you can't have access to quality jobs when you don't have a skill and you don't know anything. That's the problem.
Right, so that's what I'm saying. The housing issue and the economic issue is part of a broader social issue. We need to fix a lot of problems here, not one at a time. It's a multi-pronged thing.
He punched his ticket into the zone last week for telling an African-American professor from Columbia University that he looked like a cocaine dealer.
Well, say you're a cocaine dealer, and you kind of look like one a little bit. And I don't want to go on a lynching party against Michelle Obama unless there's evidence, hard facts, that say this is how the woman really feels. Then that's legit.